Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now, if we rewind about 7 months ago when I first started doing YouTube, one of the first videos that I did was my designer handbag collection. But one thing that you guys have been asking for is my best and worst out of that collection. So, I have picked 3 worst and 3 best, and I'm going to run through each of those now. And can I just say, this was so difficult. A, trying to pick 3 best, and B, trying to pick 3 worst, because I love my bags, I worked really hard to buy them, and I was just like, oh no, I'm gonna have to write loads of negatives on my bags. But this is as honest as it will get. So yeah, let's get stuck in. Right, so I've decided to start with my 3 best. Let's start on a positive note, shall we? And at number 1, undoubtedly, is Judith. If you don't follow me already, or if you're not subscribed to the channel, you will have no idea what the word Judith means, but basically I name my handbags, and this is Judith. This is the Loewe puzzle bag, and this is in the small size. So why is Judith such a great bag? Well, the main point, which I think is excellent about the small Loewe puzzle, is that it is like a Mary Poppins bag. I can fit my vlogging camera in there, I can fit all sorts in there, so much it is crazy. Now, another pro point of this bag is that I feel like it's really secure. So it has a zip fastening just under here, and then it has this flap which conceals the zip, which I find is just so useful. Now, the majority of the time I wear Judith as a crossbody, and she is so comfortable. The strap, as you can see, is quite wide, and then it has this additional bit on the top which provides extra, it's not so much padding, but it just provides a wider surface area to go on your shoulder so that it doesn't dig in. I don't think I could list any negatives about this bag. It is by far my best handbag purchase that I've made to date. Value for money, right up there. Like, I think that goes to show with how often I've worn it. It's a really high quality. The leather is beautiful. Someone did ask me on Instagram about corners, and you wanted me to mention corners and wearing on bags. Now, I have had this one for however long I just said it was, 5-6 months. So I'm not really sure if that's quite long enough to get corner wear just yet, but she's looking mighty fine. There is absolutely no wear on the corners. Another pro with this bag, and maybe this is down to the colour / fabric combo that I've gone with, because the Loewe puzzle does also come in suede, not so practical, is that I've had absolutely no leather transfer. She's incredibly easy to clean. I did accidentally slop a bit of hot chocolate down her the other day and literally just wiped off. Absolutely no denim transfer whatsoever thus far. Now, obviously colour wise, that's going to depend on whatever colour you fancy, or whatever colour you would choose to buy the bag in. Tan leather for me is probably the next most versatile colour and fabric combo to buy a handbag in, next to black leather. I can literally wear her with anything. I'd say the only kind of colour that you can't really pair her with, or that she looks a little bit odd with, is red. But other than that, she just goes amazingly with pretty much any outfit. It's just a brilliant all-rounder bag. I honestly couldn't recommend it enough. I would even be tempted myself to buy one in another colour, just because I love this bag so much. It is practical, it's great value for money, it's a really good brand, which is kind of moving up there. It's a very, very premium brand. Obviously that comes with the premium price tag, but for the amount of times that I've worn this bag, I would say that it's definitely, hand on heart, money well spent. Right, number 2 on the best list is the Gucci Marmont in the medium size. This bag is great. It's another Mary Poppins bag. Now, at the moment it is a little bit flat and lifeless, but I haven't got the space, unfortunately, to be able to pad out all of my bags. But that is one of the bonuses of this bag. I can leave this bag stood up in my wardrobe as is, and then every time I get it out, as soon as I start popping a few of my everyday must-haves inside the bag, it just brings it back to life, so it never ever loses its shape. So up until I got Judith last year, this was probably my most worn bag, and then Judith of course became my new favourite. So I did get so much wear out of this bag, and I still use it now. So in terms of wear, I do have a tiny little bit of wear on the corners, but because it's black leather, it's hardly noticeable, and the only place that the wear has occurred is on this little piped section which runs around the bottom of the bag. So there's no wear here, it is literally just on this piping bit here. I actually bought this, which is a point that I want to make, as a more affordable alternative to a classic Chanel bag. And I know a lot of you are going to be torn on this topic, but I personally couldn't bring myself to spend £4 grand plus on a Chanel handbag. So it's just that classic black leather, gold hardware, quilted design. And I know it's different from the Chanel, so there's going to be some real Chanel-aholics out there that are like, the Gucci doesn't compare. That's fine if you've got the kind of money to be splashing on Chanel. I don't. I can't bring myself to spend that kind of money on a brand new Chanel bag. So this for me was kind of my classic black bag. Now, being Gucci, obviously it's an Italian brand, so in comparison to the French brands, it's a little bit more in your face. Ergo, the logo much bigger, the hardware and the chain much chunkier, which I actually quite like. You can wear it as a shorter shoulder bag, you can wear it as a longer shoulder bag, and you can also wear it as a crossbody. I just think that that gives a bag a little bit more extra value for money and a bit more variation for you guys to wear with your outfits. Okay, moving on to my third and final bag in the best category, and this is a very, very classic bag. This is the Saint Laurent tote. Now, this bag I've had for 3 years. I know you guys won't have seen me wear it that often, but I think if you can judge by the rest of my handbag collection, you can see that I'm very much a small to medium handbag kind of girl. But this has a very specific purpose of when I need to carry around a lot of crap. This is the bag that I reach for. So if I need to take my laptop out for any reason, I will go for this. If I need to take paperwork, any kind of travel situation, this is what I will go for. It's a no fuss bag. This bag comes in so many different colours. In every season I see them bring out lots of different shades of colours that they've already got. There's all of the classics which tend to bring out every single season, and there is so much choice if you were looking to get a bag like this. It's a really good sturdy bag. It's well made, the stitching is high quality, the handles are durable. It's just a really good all-rounder, or even as a work bag or a mummy bag. Oh, I couldn't fault it. Actually, that's a lie. That is a lie, and I know this is in the best category. The only tiny little niggle that I would say about this bag is the closure. But in all fairness, because as you can see, it is literally just that magnetic popper in the middle there. That kind of closure is synonymous with most tote bags, so I'm going to give it a free pass on that one, but that would be my only little niggle to pick up. And obviously something for you guys to bear in mind if you're on public transport and your bag is, you know, hanging wide open with all of your worldly belongings in there. However, to combat that issue inside, there is a little pouch which is attached to the inside of the bag with quite a sturdy popper actually. Like, it's going to take some force to unpop that, but you can remove it should you not want to have this inside. So in there is this little pouch. I have a 7+ and I can fit that perfectly in there. I also have a card holder, which is what I will also keep in there. And when I have the bag full of all my other crap, I will literally just run my hand down the side of the bag until I find this, and I'll just tug that until this comes out, and then I can fish out any of the important valuable stuff that I need from in here. Now, I know that I mentioned I don't use this bag every day, but it has been on many a travel with me, and it's one of those bags which has been shoved under a seat on an airplane, under the seat in front of me. It's been dumped on the floor when I've needed to go and get my baggage off the baggage carousel. It's not been treated in the best way possible, but it's immaculate. I literally have got no denim transfer on it at the same time because this is obviously red. None of the red has transferred onto my clothes. There's no wear on the corners, even on the bottom where I do dump it on the floor from time to time. There's absolutely nothing there. So it's holding up really well. For a bag that's 3 years old, to me, it still looks pretty much brand new. Okay, on to the worst category. This is my only bag regret. It was one of those bags which I think had such a crazy high value, and it was kind of seen on all these elite people, and I got pulled in. And I was like, ah, I need one of those bags. And my gosh, did I make an epic mistake. Number one, the colour and fabric, wrong. Bad move. Suede on a bag is, although beautiful, it's just not a good idea. It's not practical, it gets dirty. Even when you rub the pile one way or another, it looks sort of scratched and tatty, even if it's not. That's just the nature of suede. So if we look on the back of the bag, this is where you can see the main kind of areas of damage. And here it's on these like raised little wiggly bits, which the most kind of wear is, and here it's gone black, so it definitely needs a clean. And this one, I'm actually going to sell this one on to someone that's going to love it and use it more than I ever have. It is so bulky. Look at that, if you can see, because the bottom is so structured. It's basically got this giant rectangle of quite solid leather, and it means that it doesn't fold. So even though the top tapers in, this bottom bit is that length, or that width should I say, and it's so bulky. As you can see, it literally only has one option. It has these top handles here, which they're great, they're really comfortable, they're quite smooth leather, but you can't fit it up here. Like, no, and I know I've got a chunky jumper on, but you cannot fit it up as a shoulder bag. And even if you could, like, no, it's just not the one, is it? So it's either a crook of the arm bag, which I'm sorry, I just don't like that look, or it's a handbag. And so it's just not the most practical bag. You're never hands-free, there is no shoulder strap, there's no way that you can carry it any other way. So if you're one of those people that loves to carry around loads of stuff, this is an excellent bag. It's just got so many flaws. So already as it is empty. It's so heavy. You start putting stuff in this bag and it becomes incredibly heavy. It's just like that alone would be enough for me to carry, so you start getting arm ache. And yeah, you can see here that it started to bend over, and that's just from the sheer weight of the suede and the leather in this bag. It's just so heavy. There's one zippy pocket at the top here. Oh, 10p. Awesome. Keep that one. Yes, so there's one zippy pocket up here which you can keep your phone in, your keys or wallet, card holder, whatever, any other valuable kind of goods in there. And then the rest of the bag is just basically like a giant box, essentially. Brand new, they are very expensive, in excess of £2,000, and for me it's just too heavy, too bulky and too awkward to be a useful and versatile handbag. Right, number 2 in the worst category, Faye. Now, this pains me a little bit to put Faye in the worst category. Yeah, it was a wrong colour choice. I went for this colour. I think someone commented on Instagram and said, no one else has got that colour, and that instantly flicked a switch in my head, and I was like, oh, I'll be the only one with this colour. That means I must buy it. And I was full of excitement, you know, it was a big purchase for me to be making, and I made a bit of a rushed decision. So, for that fact, I would just like to say the Chloe Faye as a bag in general isn't necessarily in the worst category, it's just this one, because I do actually have another Faye in a khaki green, and I do like that one. Granted, I don't wear it so much, but I'm going to touch on a few of the negatives about the Faye in general. It's very heavy. It's a really heavy bag. There's a lot of chunky hardware on there. This ring is really heavy. I mean, Chloe, they love a bit of heavy hardware, don't they? I mean, if we can just think back to the Paddington bag, it was like doing weights lifting that bag. Now, to compensate for this, I feel like the bag should have been given a thicker strap. it hasn't. The strap is really thin, and if you start putting even a few items in this bag, once you start wearing it on your shoulder, you will find that it really does start to dig in. At one point, I even used to take a shoulder pad to put in to hook under my bra strap so that I had a little bit of padding to carry around this bag. That's how dedicated I was. Another thing to mention about the strap, which I find very annoying. Now, on these little hooky bits here, I've actually lost, have I lost it on the other side? No, you can see on the other side has a tiny bit of leather there. I've lost it on this side somehow, but what I do find is when I'm carrying the bag, as it's moving, somehow these lobster clips open up and they actually attach themselves to this back section of the flap. So I'll show you a close-up, but you can actually see a little bit of damage where on each side those clips just all of a sudden attach themselves to the back of the flap, and it can start to rub and create some little marks. And it's just not, it's not the most comfortable of crossbody bags. Granted, it's very easy for access. When you have it on like this, I would probably use it a little bit lower so that your boob can fit out. But it is easy access. You literally just pull and you've got this magnetic flap here, and then you can just rummage around for whatever you want in your bag, and then it just snaps back together. But it is just this sort of funny envelope shape. So as you're walking, you're starting to knock this flap here. And of course, because the flap on most of the Chloe Fays are suede, that's going to result in some colour transference. Now, the main flaw on this bag, which for me on this one was amplified because of my colour choice, is actually the fact that the flap is made of nubuck. Now, Chloe have been useless on this front of telling me how to clean this bag, and you might have seen in my handbag collection video that I asked you guys for some tips on how to clean the flap part of the bag, because you can't just use any old suede cleaner. Nubuck is a lot more sensitive and a lot more delicate than suede. It's also a lot more delicate than the sort of suede and nubuck that is used on shoes. And a sales assistant in Selfridges who works on the Chloe concession actually told me herself these bags are impossible to clean, and they know it. So it is roomy. The only problem is as soon as you start to put bulkier items, so for me, as I mentioned, my vlog camera, it's essential that my vlog camera can fit in there. As soon as you start to put those bulky items in, the shape of the bag becomes distorted, and all of a sudden it doesn't look as nice. So although there is quite a lot of room in there to fit all of your crap in, when you put it in there, the bag no longer looks the same. And one last negative, just to throw at poor old Faye here, is that she's a noisy bag. There is a lot of hardware on here. There's chains, there's a giant ring. She jingles, so as you walk, the movement of your pace will make the bag jingle. So, if you're looking at being a stealthy ninja, I think the Chloe Faye is completely off the cards for you. And moving on to my third and final bag in the worst category, and it is the small size Givenchy Antigona. Now, I also have a medium Antigona in black with tiny little silver studs on it, and actually the medium I love. However, lose a bit of the space and this just becomes a really awkward in-betweeny bag that I can't really decide where it should go, in useful or not useful, and for that reason it's going in the worst category. So all the qualities of the medium Antigona, the small Antigona has this structured physique which enables the bag to keep its shape no matter what, which I see as very much a positive for the medium. But for the small, it just makes it really odd. So if you're to carry it as a handbag, just handheld like this, perfect. As soon as you start to put it on your shoulder, or even as a crossbody, it's so structured that it actually becomes a bit cumbersome. And I often find myself sort of not knowing what to do with my arms because it's so cumbersome. So I'm kind of like, if I've reached in to go and get my Oyster card, I then feel like I'm a bit sort of T-Rex-esque, and I'm like, beep. Unfortunately, the structure of the bag also has an effect on the opening. So because it keeps its shape as this nice kind of tapered triangular shape like this, when you go to open the bag at the top, and it takes quite some force for me to get it open to that width, it's very, very narrow in the opening. And so every time I go and stick my hand in, I often find my knuckles in particular fall victim to the teeth of the zipper. Now, the zip on my Loewe puzzle is seamless. It's not stuck once, literally zips in and out. I can zip that baby all day. This, I'm just going to try it with one hand because I feel like that's what you would do with a bag. It sticks, especially when you have it down here at the bottom. Now, in all fairness, this happens on my medium Antigona as well, so it must just be a zip issue, but it does stick. And if you start to put things in the bag and it does ever so slightly just change the shape of the top of the bag, so it doesn't necessarily lose its structure, but it just kind of makes the zipper fall a bit differently, you have to keep doing this and keep trying to shimmy the zip across, which if you've only got one hand to try and access your bag is a little bit of a pain in the arse. Right, so similarly to the other bags that I've put within this worst category, I think a lot of the fault lies in the colour choice. Now, luckily I was able to clean off the bit of denim transfer that I had on this bag using some leather cleaner and a damp cloth. But there are a couple of other marks which I've got on here as well, which are a little bit more stubborn. And although it's on the back of the bag, it is just a little bit disheartening when you have a bag of this colour that as soon as you start to get those little bits of dirt on there, almost just loses its appeal, which is so sad, because to look at and to have on a shelf, this bag is just so beautiful. Right guys, that is it for my first ever best and worst handbags video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. If you've got any other questions about any of the bags that I featured, do leave me a comment in the comments section below and I'll make sure that I get back to you as soon as possible. Now, I will make sure that I update these kind of videos quite regularly as my handbag collection expands, and I'm going to make sure that I film a lot more what's in my bag videos so that I have a separate review for each one of my handbags. So lots of those videos will be going up over the next few months, and they will be an additional video to the 2 videos that you guys already get within a week. So some weeks you're going to get a sneaky 3rd video in there, so I hope you guys enjoy those. And for now, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!